And now, the Crypt Keeper of Creepy, the provocative prince of the tweens, the nightmare from Neptune. It's Zabujard!
Hey, it's me. Regarding my job thing, you know, I've been freaking out about, lately I've been freaking out about having a job or something, or, like, you know how, like I said, I've had this job now for 8 months, or maybe longer than that. I'm not keeping track, but my desire to quit right now is so strong that I'm sleeping at work and I'm getting in trouble for it. Sleeping in the car. I'm showing up really late to work. I'm talking about like 12 minutes late. Like, really late. Barely patrolling, barely doing anything. My desire to quit has suddenly become so strong and powerful that I am more and more each week sabotaging the job until they fire me, it seems like, or something. Subconsciously and also consciously, or I don't know. Maybe just like consciously, or I mean subconsciously, or both, or something, or whatever. And I know as humans we freak out a lot. Maybe we freak out, or maybe we're stressed about stuff, or maybe we're not holy enough, or not praying enough, or not whatever enough. But I just need to remember that the only thing that matters to me right now is just that I quit this job as soon as I can. And then after I quit this job, I'm going to take a breath. And I'm going to refocus my entire life. And I'm going to think, okay, now what do I do? Or like, where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? But the first step that I keep thinking about is just that quitting the job, and then take a breath, and then what do I do from here? Where do I go from here? What do I focus on right now from here? What do I focus on? I was, for 3 weeks, I was getting up early and going to bed early-ish, and I was doing good. And then I fell back into my habit of staying up until 6 or 9 in the morning and waking up at 4 or 5 p.m. That's bad. I'm trying not to do that anymore. Sometimes it's really hard, and there's other really hard things to quit, is all I can say when it comes to habits that I have, I guess you can say. I think we all know what I'm talking about here. But the most important thing right now is I just gotta keep focusing my energy and praying I'm praying that they destroy all these drones in the sky, and all the sky weapons, and all the sky demons and shit in the sky. But I'm also kind of focusing my energy prayer towards, I need to quit as soon as possible. I need to quit the job. I want to quit. I need to quit. It has to be done. It has to be quit. It has to be gone. It has to be disappeared out of my life. I'm done with working. I'm done with that fag shit. I keep putting energy and angst and power and stuff into quitting the job. It's going to happen very, 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 very soon. I just keep putting energy into it, and it just hasn't happened yet. I just keep putting energy and mental focus into it, sabotaging my work if I have to, even though I have to pay rent, so I don't know what to do about that. But I even took the week off this week. I literally took the week off, so I won't work for 12 days, and that's not even enough for me. I know I have people in my life my relatives, my family members, and my friend comes down once a year. My friend comes down once a year on Christmas, and I saw him today. Every Christmas he comes down for one day a year. And him and my family and all sorts of people are saying to me, they're all saying the same thing to me. They're saying, why is it so hard to have, don't you have a chill job? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's you yeah, most of the time it's pretty chill. It's just cold. And it's usually chill. I don't usually have to knock on people's doors and tell them to be quiet or break up parties very often at the hotel or anything like that. It's usually just quiet and cold. Very cold. And and people, my family and people are all saying this thing. I don't get it. Why can't you hold on to a 2 day a week job? Like what's the big deal? Like why is it like I don't get it. Why can't you just hold on? It's a chill job, right? I say, yeah. If it's a chill job and it's only 2 days a week and it's chill, then what's the problem? I don't see why you want to quit so badly. And I don't know how to explain this to people. And they say, well, what would you do at home? And I'd say, well, just hang out in the room like always, right? And they say, well, then it's not that different from sitting in a cold car all night. But it kind of is. It kind of is. I don't know why people can't understand this. I don't know why people can't get this, but and maybe I'm wrong, but it's going to work is so boring. I hate driving there. I hate driving on the LA freeway there and back. And I got a faggot fucking stop sign. I don't want to yell. A faggot stop sign ticket just for going to work a few weeks ago that I had to pay. It was ridiculous. Driving is for I don't agree with driving most of the time. It's just too dangerous. The cops will give you tickets just for driving. It's an absolute retarded thing. Kind of. I don't know how to explain it, but anyways, the job's just boring and I just don't like it. I don't know. I don't like any jobs really, except I like making the cartoons. That's my job. If I have to pick a job, then, you know, making the videos is my job thing. And I think of that as kind of like my job thing is like making the cartoons and sometimes I'm even too lazy to even do that. And so if I'm too lazy to make a cartoon, I'll think, okay, maybe I'm not lazy enough to make a video vlog. So then I'll try to do that. If I'm too lazy to make a cartoon or I'm too pessimistic in a weird way to use that word to make a cartoon, then I'll say, okay, well maybe I can make a video because it might be less effort than a cartoon. So then I'll make a video and I'll say, if I can just put out some sort of content that will make some person smile today, rather than rotting in bed all day and doing God knows what on the computer and stuff, then that's fine. If I can just try to make some sort of silly video that someone can find entertaining today, then that's good enough. And if I can just work up the mental, motivating, godly-ish energy to of godly creation energy to create something that someone will think is kind of cute or whatever, then that's good enough for me, and that's kind of like my job, I guess. But anyways, people can't, because I don't make very much money from the cartoons. I think I make around like $34 a month sometimes. And it varies, I guess, from month to month sometimes. I don't know. So, usually you might think, well, that's not a real job. That doesn't make any money. I think of it more like your job is to make someone smile every day in some sort of way. And then that's kind of like the job I thought of, invented, created. It's called a smile creator. And your main purpose job is to make someone smile through some sort of thing that you did. It doesn't really matter what it is. And it's a job that I invented, by the way. Kind of, I think. Anyways, so I don't know. Can anyone understand? Or is it just retarded what I'm saying that I desperately want to quit a chill-ish job that I only do 2 days a week? Is that insane to say? Someone write in the comments, that's insane. You should keep your job. Or someone write in the comments, no, it's not that insane. It's fine or whatever. Right, whatever you think about it. But because I don't know. I don't know. But my family doesn't get it, and it's only 2 days a week. You can't do 2 days a week, and it's not even like that hard. You know, and they're right. They're right. They're kind of right. Like I can kind of right now I can kind of force myself to do this. If my car broke down, I think maybe I would be homeless or something. Or if I just quit my job, I think maybe I'd be homeless in a different circumstance. Or if I had to keep my job forever, then maybe I could keep at it for as long as I could. I could try my best for as long as I could before I gave up. It's just like a war of attrition. It doesn't feel like I'm succeeding or winning. It feels like I'm surviving barely, or like it's a war of survival and attrition, and I'm fighting to survive. And you go to work to fight just to survive another day, to get food on the table, and a place to sleep, and a place to shower, whatever it is. Right now, I feel like I'm in a war of attrition, but if I wasn't able to quit soon, which I'm pretty sure I am able to quit soon, thank God, but if I wasn't, then I think I could handle trying to survive as long as I could at this job, at this sort of job. If I could hang in there, and the keywords there is hang in there, basically hanging by a thread or hanging by your fingertips, hanging off a giant, niggardly giant, evil, demonic, tall cliff with waves at the bottom and lightning, and the waves are crashing. Or maybe the waves are calm, but you'll still die because you're falling from a cliff into the ocean, and there's nowhere where you can swim to find your footing. It's the ocean. There's no beaches around. It's a steep cliff. And so I hope that I explained that good enough. And I'm out of town, so I'm posting podcasts that I'm making on my phone. I don't have my computer. The screen is broken. Without a television, I can't hook my computer up to anything. So I'm just on the phone while I'm out of town for a little while. But anyways, so I have kind of a big day tomorrow. Some of you probably know what's happening tomorrow on Friday, and it's kind of a pretty big day tomorrow. Today, whatever day, It's today now. It's 5 a.m. It's Friday, so I have kind of a nerve-wracking, I've kind of a horrifying-ish day today, or just kind of a nerve-wracking, or just kind of a weird day today that I don't know if I want to get into, but if you've listened to the podcast, you might know what's happening today. And I had a long day today. I did a lot of driving today. It was just a long day, and then today, or yesterday, and then today I'm gonna have maybe just it might be super easy. It's probably gonna be chill, but it's also gonna be kind of scary. It's gonna be pretty scary, so it's just gonna, the days keep coming sometimes. Sometimes the scary days, in quotation marks or whatever, they just kind of keep coming sometimes. You guys know. That's just how it is for everyone, for some people or a lot of people. I don't know. For a lot of people maybe. So sometimes the big days just keep coming, man. Day after day after day sometimes. So you guys know how it is. I know some of you probably know how it is, so yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are having a good day every day for the rest of your lives, and that every day of your life is blessed for the rest of your life. Every day is the best day of your life. It could be the best day of your life, and it could be the last day of your life, and it could be both. And there's nothing wrong with that. Every single day could be the last and the best day of your life, and that's fine. And that's great. That's great. And whatever's going on, you just have to think about the next step, and nothing else matters, kind of. For me, the next step is just kind of remembering that the next step for me is quitting this job as soon as I can, and that's the next step that I'm kind of focusing and thinking about sometimes. And then just praying as much as you can, or whenever you want, and stuff like that. It's just whatever you gotta do, man. Yeah, just whatever you gotta do. This portion of the podcast is not for the weak of heart. But if you were weak of heart, I don't think you would have found this channel anyways. All I wanted to say was very quickly, I don't even know if I want to bring it up. It makes you wonder. When you're a boy, I'm just going to say, does it make you wonder? Am I controlling my hand? Or is my hand controlling me? It feels like my hand has a brain of its own or a mind of its own. And all I'm going to say, because I think we all know what I'm talking about. Every year, you pick up new retarded habits and new problems with your body. As you get older, I have new mucus problems, new sinus problems. Your back might start to hurt, your hair falls out, your pubic hair falls out. That's the worst one. Because of my collection of bad habits, and because I'm alone so often, there seems to be an extremely powerful magnetic pull from my groin into the magnet of my hand. That's all I can say. Because it seems like if I don't tie my hands with handcuffs to a tree, then those hands are magnetically orbiting around the planet of Grointopia. And there's some powerfully demonic pull from my root chakra to my hand chakra, if you know what I'm talking about. And it makes you wonder, am I controlling my hand? Or is my hand controlling me? Does my hand have a frickin' brain of its own, or what's going on here? In Judaism, I want to talk one thing. When you die, they say that every one of your body parts will give an account to God about how it was used, and how you used it, and how it was abused, and how it loosed, and how it was lubed. And let's just say a lot of hands are going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. That's all I can say. Now, Moses' middle finger was his most holy finger in his entire hand. That's why there's something strange about giving someone the middle finger, don't you think? Could it be that it's been distorted from its original purpose? The middle finger is the biggest finger on the hand, the most powerful finger, and it's in the middle of all the fingers. People say that Moses used his middle finger to do a lot of his miracles and stuff like that. In Judaism, the middle finger is the most sacred finger, I think. I've said this before, but I'll say it again quickly. skip over this part if you already know this, which a lot of you do, is that the word yod, the letter yod in Judaism, Hebrew, is the definition of the word hand in Hebrew. Yod is hand. Yod is the 14th letter, I think. There's 14 bones in the hand. It's amazing how all the letters and the numbers of Hebrew line up with the various bones and aspects of the body, as if the language itself was made by extremely higher knowledge angelic beings of some sort. Anyway. The good thing about going places or doing new things or going out of town for a while is that I'm forced to have new ideas. And new ideas are always a very, very beautiful thing to me. I'm already really good at ideas, but when you throw me into a slightly different environment, imagine how many more new ideas I'm going to get. In fact, I'm a sponge, and I am freaking overflowing with so many effing ideas. It would make any normie go insane and start screaming at the top of their lungs. I can't handle it. There's too many ideas in my head coming in. I can't do it anymore. Picks up a Kruger. I couldn't handle it, their ghost says as it flies away into some strange black hole thing. There's this song I really like that I put at the end of the last podcast called One Headlight by the Wallflowers, and I don't get the point of the song, but the band said it was about dead ideas. And I can't stop thinking about what the hell is a dead idea? What does that even mean? Like, ideas that people don't do anymore? Like, World War II German politics ideas? I can't even say the word on here. Like that kind of dead idea? Or someone who's like Alzheimer's and isn't having new ideas? Like ideas that aren't new or original, so they think that they're dead and like unoriginal. Like, what does he mean by dead ideas? What is a dead idea? It's driving me insane. What did he mean? What the hell is even a dead idea? That makes no effing sense. Write in the comments. Sometimes I overthink things and I miss the extremely obvious, rational, and reasonable explanation of things. If you guys have an opinion on what a dead idea is, write it in the comments if you want. And you know, the funny thing looking back on my 20s, and a lot of you guys might be 20, and the funny thing is, I think a lot of people in their 20s they might have ideations about ending one's own life in their 20s, and those will go away when you're in your 30s. I'm pretty sure. I would hope. I think they did for me. I don't even know if I ever had them, but if I did, then they definitely went away by the time I was 30. There definitely felt like a phase in your 20s. And speaking of phases in your 20s, you know, I got a new superpower in my 20s, which was a really terrible eating disorder. And that has also gotten way better after about 5 or 10 years. After about 6 or 10 years, it's gotten way better, I think. I think it's gotten way better. But you know, for 5 or 10 years, it was really, really bad. You know, throwing up all the time and not being able to eat. And I mean, of course, right now I'm still anorexic. You guys have seen my videos. I'm skinnier than a skeleton. I think 40 or 50 pounds underweight for my height. And I'm working on that. Kind of. Kind of. I know, I still don't eat that much, but I'm not like throwing up. But I almost threw up today because I have a very nervous-ish day today coming up. That's the only reason, but, you know, my social anxiety, if there is such a thing, got so bad. And that might have been the root cause of what really kind of threw a wrench in my life for 30 years or whatever. One of the root causes is probably social anxiety, or at least some kind of anxiety or something, which, I don't know, it gets better, but it's always kind of going to be there. Like, for example, if I got to go on the train or do anything kind of different, then I might get at least a little bit or maybe a lot nervous and probably have diarrhea before. And I'm always going to have diarrhea before I have to do something important. Like, if you want it, it doesn't really go away. I don't know how many normies experience that, but that's always been my experience, and that's kind of thrown a wrench in a lot of my life as well. But anyways, um, looking back, so as soon as I flunked out of college, I immediately got a really bad eating disorder, probably during college. I was only there for a couple months before I had to drop out because I couldn't handle it. And I failed all the classes and stuff, and well, I wasn't going to the classes, I was just sleeping all day and not eating. But anyways, the cool thing about my parents forcing me and sending me to college was that it got me a really terrible eating disorder for at least 6 or 10 years. And I might still have it, I'm not sure, but anyways, it was just a lot of puking and stuff. And anyway, it's just funny because I remembered how bad it was, and for a while I was carrying around paper and plastic bags in my pocket wherever I went. If I had to walk somewhere or drive somewhere or whatever, I'd bring bring a plastic or a paper bag with me. Because if I'm driving, you might have to throw up, or wherever you go, if you go to some place, God forbid, you might have to throw up in front of a bunch of normies wherever you are. I don't know if I ever did that. I did kind of throw up in front of my sister's hot friend once. That was kind of embarrassing. They gave me a beer, and at the time, I liked to drink at the time, but it was but at the time, even having a tiny bit of alcohol made me extremely nauseous. But I still liked to drink at the time, but I knew even having a little bit of alcohol, there was a huge risk I could puke. And I was hanging out with my sister and her hot friend. She was like this weird Indian chick, or like some kind of like brown skinned like Indian girl. And I know you guys are thinking, Indian girl, those aren't hot, but trust me, this one was hot, even though she was like Indian or something. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Anyways, I drove them to the movie theater, and I think they gave me a beer, and I wanted to look kind of cool, so I chugged the whole beer. I chugged the whole beer like as fast as I could. Just fucking. I think and then I'm like, I'll be right back. And then I like walked over like, I don't know, 10 or 20 feet to a tree and just puked all over this tree. Beer that I just had. And I'm like, oh man, now that chick thinks I'm a joke. Which it doesn't matter. I am terrible with women, as you might have guessed, I guess. I don't know. So, But you never know. You never know. You never know. That half the 50% of the world is women, as crazy as that sounds. I don't run into any of them. I don't talk to any of them. I don't know any of them, but somehow I'm sharing an entire realm with 50% women. Now that's insane. Because you never see them. You never talk to them. You never hear from them. You never hear about them. You never see them except in, we'll say, adult films. But they do exist. Actually, when you go outside to the grocery store, you see them at the store. That's about it. You do see them at the store. I know that they exist. And that men get married to them. I know some men, somehow more than I expect. I would think maybe 1% of men would be married, but it's probably more like 10 or 20 or 30% of men, or 20, maybe 15% of men. But by my own experience, with my own, how I am with women, I would think it would be like less than 1%. Because they're very rejecty, I'll say, right? They're very like strange creatures, okay? Very strange creatures, but you never know, right? I mean, I'm still young. I'm 32. Like, maybe you never know, or you just never know. So I don't know. So anyways, I don't remember what I was talking about, but I would bring a bag around with me to puke in. Because you never know when you're gonna puke, right? And I think the social anxiety and the eating disorder complemented each other really well, because they kind of like boosted each other into a super nauseous superpower, and it elevated the nausea to really powerful levels or something. And can you imagine a boy walking around with a puke bag in his 20s? It's like, I was talking to my mom a few weeks ago, or a few months ago. I think I was driving her around, and she's like, you're not normal, right? Like, this isn't normal, and like your life's not normal, and you're like, you're like not normal, right? And I'm like, I mean, I guess. I said, like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of like not normal. Like, I think she was talking about my job, how I barely work or something, because I don't work very much. And she's like, you're like not normal, right? And yeah, I think probably I'm not. Maybe I'm probably like not even like, maybe like I'm probably like not even like, I think probably like I'm probably not even really like, like I might not be normal, because because I my room's a mess. I don't really have friends or a girlfriend or anything like that. Not even close to a girlfriend or anything. I barely work, and I'm not interested in jobs or careers or anything like that. Or money. I hate money. It's disgusting, obviously. I don't have my own house, I guess. I'm living with my sister in her room. In one of her rooms. It's like, and I make cartoons. I enjoy making cartoons. But so like but what part of that is not normal exactly? I'm trying to figure out the part where the normal word doesn't mix in with my current life stuff. Like, which part of my life is not exactly normal? And I think it's probably fine to not be normal, but am I really not normal? And then I think probably yeah, but it just felt like a weird question to be asked um, because I guess like yeah, I guess like I guess maybe I'm not quite normal or something, but so what exactly is normal mean? What does that really like? Because if you asked anybody, they'd probably be like, "I'm not normal. I'm a special type of guy. I I'm special. I'm unique." You know? So there was an old guru in the 80s or 70s called Krishnamurti that some people like, kind of like the Alan Watts of his time, who used to say that there's no such thing as an average Joe, you know, and he would say that, there's no such thing as an average Joe, and that all men's wives are prostitutes, and he said a lot of interesting stuff. But anyways, um, so but yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I'm not exactly normal, but I don't know. Maybe that feels weird to say though, because if you say you're not normal, then doesn't that make you like, I don't know, and so I don't know how to respond to that. But I'm like, yeah, I guess you're probably right. A lot of my room and my car and my life is decorated in kind of a schizophrenic artistic way. So, but are artists normal? I think there could be normal artists, of course. And art and schizophrenia, I think, kind of go very hand in hand. And so non-normalcy goes hand in hand with art, which goes hand in hand with schizophrenia, which goes hand in hand with pranks, making cartoons, jokes, and silliness, and of course a word that's kind of defined a lot of the last 10 or 15 years of my life. And I haven't said the word very much in a long time, but you guys might remember this word that's very central and important and core to my entire life that a lot of people don't even think about or use, and that word is mysticism. And mysticism, the definition of it is, I don't know if I remember the definition of it, but it's kind of like, it's, I should write it down if I can remember what it means, but it kind of means where you, fuck, what does it mean? It, it means shoot. It's kind of like where you're pretending. Your whole life is kind of like playing pretend, but that playing pretend is real. It's dang it! I forgot the definition of it that I made up. I didn't write it down when I created it a few years ago. The definition is like where it's like where you're an actor and your life is a movie, and or you're playing pretend, but but the pretending is real, and the pretending is real, and I forgot how to explain it. I'll look it up. I don't know how to explain it. I forgot what it meant, and I forgot how to explain it, but just remember that it's a very important word to me, it might be one of them. It's on my top 2 or top 3 words that kind of can describe what my life is right now. Or maybe what it's always been, I don't know, but mysticism goes hand in hand with art and goes hand in hand with performance art. And it goes hand in hand with acting. And mysticism is pretending, but it's not, but the pretending is real, and you treat the pretending like it is real, and the pretending becomes real. Like if you pretended you were a doctor, but then you just believe that you were a doctor because it's real, because you're pretending that you're a doctor, and you walk around and you tell everybody you're a doctor, and you're like, oh, I'm a doctor, I can help. I can do CPR on him, I can help. And then they say, are you really a doctor? And you're like, well, yeah, I'm a doctor. They say, really? And you say, of course. But kind of deep down, you didn't actually go to medical school. You're not actually a real kind of doctor, like super deep down. But because of mysticism, which I can't explain correctly, I don't even think I'm explaining it right. It can be whatever you want, maybe. It's that powerful of a word that mysticism can almost be whatever you want it to be. It might be one of the most powerful English words I can think of, and it might be the most powerful one in the entire universe. It's that important of a word, and I know some people might think of it like shamanism. And yeah, maybe it can be like that too. Maybe it can be like that too, sure. And shamanism also goes hand in hand with mysticism, art, schizophrenia, and all those other things I said earlier that I don't remember. They all tie in together. As you can see, there's a huge circle or a huge web of words that are a chain reaction to the other words around them. If I could write them all down, then you guys would be able to see how they all tie into each other. And I need to do that when I get home. I'll have to do that because I think that would be really cool for you guys to see how these words are all similar. But if somebody remembers how I explained the word in my podcast a few years ago, you can write it down in the comments. But I don't remember how I explained it. I might have even written a book about it, but I can't remember. Yeah, sorry guys, I just looked it up on Google and none of those are the right definition for mysticism. None of those are the correct definition. It means way more than that, but I can't remember what it means. I might have to look at some of my old podcasts I made a few years ago to remember exactly what it means. The real Zabujar definition of mysticism. But it's kind of, I can't remember what I made it the definition a few years ago for the word mysticism, but I had a definition that I liked a lot for that word. But I just remember it had something to do with treating your life like it's a game of pretend. That's all I can remember. But I can't remember the exact definition that I created for that word or that I found for that word in the spiritual heavens or whatever, but the definitions on Google aren't quite right for mysticism. They're not even close for how I feel about the word, which I just have a very beautiful, romantic, sexual relationship with that word, and just a very loving relationship with that word, but I can't remember what it means. I just can't go back to sleep. I'm barely getting any sleep here. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep here. I'm out of town. But anyways, something I've thought about a few times. Like I said, as weird as it is, we do share this planet, although I don't call it a planet because that's not right. I call it a realm. We share this realm with 50% women and 50% men. Now that might vary if you go by the myth of the Amazon tribe, where it's mostly women and a couple of men, or the Gerudo tribe in Legend of Zelda. Or if you're in a country like ancient Sparta, where maybe there's more men or something, or current day China, where it's more men because a lot of the women are ended at birth, shall we say. You may not see any of them, but they do in fact exist, these strange, mysterious creatures that I've been told we share our planet with, our realm with. The problem with this is that if I was to actually date a person or even become friends with a person, here's why there's a huge problem with that, possibly. Here's the problem with that. The problem. Imagine, if you will, that you're maybe some kind of a poisonous person, if such a thing existed in quotation marks. A poisonous person. Now let's imagine there's a jar of lemonade, a big, beautiful, ice-cold pitcher of lemonade. And you walk up to it, and you dump in, maybe a small cup of motor oil or bleach. They might not notice it at first. But then let's say you dump in a little bit more and a little bit more. After a short time, that beautiful ice-cold yellow lemonade will look brown and black and crusted over and acidic and corrupted and poisoned and dead and AIDS, rape, whatever. That lemonade no longer looks like lemonade. It no longer acts and tastes like lemonade. Now it's all messed up. It doesn't taste right, and it doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't know what's going on. Let's say you, for example, find a normie friend or a normie girlfriend, and you trick this person into caring about you. Well, that's fine, I guess, but if you divulge too much of your power level, you might start with 1%. But for someone like me, if I was to divulge even 5% of my power level to a normal person, they might explode. And you might think, well, nobody cares about you. Everybody cares about themselves. That's true. But here's the tricky thing. If you actually found a male friend or a female girlfriend, and you maybe truthfully or not so truthfully tricked, in quotation marks, this person into caring about you or even liking you or even loving you. Yikes, I know. Okay, that's fine, everything's going fine. But then, what if you mess up? What if they see the real you, or they see parts of you, or a dark side of you, or a hidden side of you, or that power level I was talking about earlier that people can't comprehend? If someone saw that quote-unquote poisonous part of the poisoned person creature, and that person got poisoned themselves, and maybe you somehow in some way broke their heart or hurt their trust or didn't live up to their expectation that you may have given them or something, all of a sudden that person is thinking about you. You've successfully destroyed, corrupted, and raped their brain. Maybe on purpose, maybe not on purpose. But nonetheless, if you are some sort of, in quotation marks, poisonous person or poisonous creature, and you inject yourself like motor oil into a big, healthy, ice-cold pitcher of Normie lemonade, and you corrupt that lemonade and you destroy that lemonade, then you've caused a trail of destruction that could have been avoided by you not becoming that person's friend or partner or whatever, by you leaving that person alone. Now, if you live a life of complete solitude like some people do out there, it can be very hard, and it can lead to your own kind of total destruction and rebirth, and maybe destruction again, and maybe rebirth again. But then at least you're not destroying another person's innocent-ish life, right? But if you decide to intervene if some susceptible, gullible, naive normie gives you a chance to be their friend or boyfriend or whatever, and they take you into their wing and into their life, and you mess them up, you've caused some damage. And, is it okay to even do that? Is it even okay to put ourselves into other people's lives if we are, let's say, what's the right word? If we are tricky people, if we are people who might accidentally hurt a person's brain, if we are people who might, as normies might say, come with issues or come with baggage, people that might come with a lot of baggage, that might somehow pop out. This baggage might be, you might hide it behind a dumpster at first, but eventually maybe they'll find all that trash baggage, and they'll find out that, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? This person isn't a normal person. What am I going to do? I already have feelings for this person now, and now I'm trapped. I'm this person's friend now, or their girlfriend. What am I going to do? This person, I can't be with this person is not normal. This person has baggage. This person is not a correct person. He's not a normie person. Now they're freaking out. They're panicking. Whereas, guess what? If you left that normie or girl or friend alone your whole life, they would have found another friend, a more normal friend, or they would have found a normal boyfriend or husband. I can't imagine I would be the best boyfriend or husband. Mostly in my room, I think the women would get bored of me. They'd say, your room is boring, can we go do something else? I hate it here, this sucks. If you left that person alone, they would have found a normal boyfriend or a normal husband. Eventually one would come along, maybe. Don't you think so? Only a matter of time, right? Maybe. Is it worth it? Is it okay? Is it acceptable? Is it legal? Is it approvable? Is it agreeable? Is it okay? Is it functional? Is it wise to inject, say, a cup of motor oil into a pitcher of ice-cold lemonade? I'm not really sure. I don't know.